Legacy Pack format. The Master Duel format that consists of only legacy cards. Relux hosted a tournament to find out which legacy deck is the best. Let's hop into the games and find out.
We are here. It is the big game. It is the finals. This is what we came for. We want to see what is the best deck in the legacy format. And I think we're going to see it, depending on the winner of this match. We'll see exactly what deck crushes everyone else. Going into game one of the finals is our best of three no-side deck. This is the tournament, the Legacy Pack Tournament Finals. We've drawn a very good opening hand from Billy McBob, a Morphing Jar, Swords of Revealing Light, Magical Midbreaker, which basically protects from card effects, Destruction on monsters, Appropriate, which is very interesting. I've only ever seen this in some strange FTKs, and a Summon Limit. In Corky's hand, we have a Raigeki Break, a Lightning Vortex, and 3 Web Soldier. Can't tell if that's good, but we will see how this plays out. Turn 1 goes to Billy. He's going to activate the Magical Midbreaker, setting the Morphing Giant, activating Swords of Revealing Light to stop any attacks, and setting the Appropriate and Summon Limit. Not bad. He's drawn into a Web Soldier, Corky over there. Summon Limit has been activated. Web Soldier will be summoned. He'll go into the battle for getting the Swords of Revealing Light, but then use the Web Soldier effect to special the Centibit, and then set the Raigeki Break for future. We've drawn into Terrors of the Hidden City, which stops face-down monsters from being targeted and boosts them when they're flipped up. Raigeki Break will target the Hidden City though and get that out of the way, but Morphing Jar will still get to resolve here, meaning they both draw 5 cards. Let's review the hands once again. After Appropriate gets activated, in Corky's hand we have a Bad Aim, 2 Bug Emergency, which is 2 special summons. Bad Aim is a really good card, by the way, in this format. It's a great removal. Trap, we have a Centibit and a Shiny Black Sea Squadder. In this Billy's hand here, we have 2 Needleworms, a Morphing Jar, 2 a Kaiser Colosseum, and a Hammer Shot. This seems to be some sort of stall mill strategy, which seems really cool. He sets the Needleworm and attacks the Morphing Jar into the Centibit to kill it. He activates a Kaiser Colosseum here to kind of prevent him from summoning many more monsters. He gets 1 more since it will match the 2 on his field. The Goki pole that drew off the top will be set, and then 2 Bug Emergencies and a Bad Aim will go through. He sets a Needleworm and passes back to Corky. Corky draws another Bug Emergency off the top. He's going to set the Bug Emergency and set the Centibit. Swords of Revealing Light is now gone. Drawing into the second Hammer Shot here, we'll go 1 Day of Peace. Bad Aim will happen and target the Kaiser Colosseum, so now we can get some more summons in, which is very much needed for Corky's deck. But since Corky drew a card from 1 Day of Peace, Appropriate will activate, and he'll get 2 more draws into Cyberstein and Needleworm with the Hero Shadow Scale as well. And Corky drew the Compulsory Evacuation Device, which is crazy against flip decks. So he's going to flip the Needleworm. Billy mills 5 off the top of his opponent's deck. Another 5, some really, really good cards in here, but Bugs in the Grave are not great. Needleworm into Goki Pog does not connect, but Centibit does get killed. Morphing Jar 2 set on the field. Bug Emergency in the end phase. The special 2 bugs back from the graveyard, but their effects are negated, but that does not matter because this deck uses a lot of XEs. Another Compulse in hand, which again is crazy against this type of deck. So many flip effects, you can just bounce them back. We have Ska Radiator coming onto the field. We have Web Soldier and the Goki Pole going into attack position. Morphing Jar 2 will not activate because it misses timing, because it gets attached. Now, minor clarification, the reason that the Morphing Jar 2 effect didn't go off is because of the Cocoon Denser, which stops any effects until the end of the damage step from defense position monsters, and then also the Centibit allows for multiple attacks on defense position monsters. So yeah, that is why that didn't go off. We saw another attack go through and a Bug Emergency activated as we pause. Let's see what targets we grab. We grab the Oily Cicada and the Centibit in the battle phase as well. He gets a lot of damage in here. Well, 1 Day of Peace, maybe not. Set 2 Compulse. Now, as far as I can see, this looks like game to Corky. There is only flip effects in Billy's hand. Whilst there is Hammer Shots, that will not do anything because of the Magical Midbreaker. Main phase 2, Hammer Shot again, getting rid of the XZs, setting the Morphing Jar, which is going to get compulsed. There is a lot of damage coming Billy's way right now. Unfortunately, the Summon Limit is not going to do much against this board. He's going to take, how much is that? 34,000 damage. Halfway to death. there is a Kikada King coming out, and that is the MVP of Corki's deck as far as I know, and he has said so as well. Raigeki Break is set, and we have a Swords of Revealing Light off the top, which is very nice. Unfortunately, that Raigeki Break will come in handy, setting the Morphing Jar once again to see if this does resolve this time. But unfortunately, we know that there's a Compulse set, and that will go back to hand. We don't have enough damage yet, but we can first of all get rid of the Swords of Revealing Light so we can actually attack, switch the Kikada to attack, and then special summon the Centipede from grave, but just normal summoning the Shiny Black Sea will do the trick. That is enough damage for game 1. A very interesting game 1. It seems Corki has built his deck in a manner that destroys any flip or defense monsters, and even in the game against me, that worked really well, and it seems a lot of people are running that. So I'm scared for Billy. I don't think this matchup is very good for him. Let's see how he fares in game 2 of potentially 3. Let's see what our opening hands are like. Billy is going to go first. He looks like a very good hand. He's got the Morphing Jar. He's going to set that up now. He's going to activate the Terrors of the Hidden City and set another one and the Present card. And I believe he's going to activate the Swords of Revealing Light. Yep, that makes sense. But unfortunately, let's do a quick hand review of Corki's. Corki has drawn the Raigeki Break and Lightning Vortex once again. These seem to be glued to his hand, which are amazing in this matchup. He has the Dream Kikada and the 2 Cocoon Dancers. But there is a present card set. Let's see if Billy McBob fires this straight away, drawing into a Web Soldier, but yep. There goes the present card. Discard all his cards and draw 5, but he did draw into another Compulse and plenty of monsters. Web Soldier coming out and the Oily Kikada coming through. Kikada King is summoned, using the Kikada King to change defense to 0 for some reason. Dream Kikada to change the position of the King. King brings back the Cocoon Dancer and setting the compulsory evacuation device. Can't attack because of swords, so he's going defensive. Cyberstein off the top is a very good draw, activating the other Terrors to boost up the Morphing Jar even more. Kikada King will get its effect to negate the effects of the Morphing Jar by changing the battle position of the King. And then the King will get the effect to special summon another bug from the grave, Dream Kikada coming out to change the position of the Morphing Jar to defense, not getting an attack. Compulse coming out on the Cyberstein to stop its effect from hitting the board, and this is looking very scary for Billy. There is a Bug Emergency off the top, which is an amazing draw. It's not the best, but it's really good. Web Soldier using effect, or Cocoon Dancer, getting Web Soldier out the grave to go into Skull Radiator once again. Cocoon Dancer using its effect, which I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. So the Cocoon Dancer prompt is just to show that this can attack defense position monsters as many times as it wants, and then he went into a Korbagi. Using the Korbagi effect to detach one and shuffle one back in, and switching the Kikada King to get its effect, and then chaining the Korbag here to attach another monster. He's attaching the King to the Korbag, using the King to special the Kakunda and normal something LED E-Bug. Drawing into an Appropriate off the top isn't great, but for some reason we didn't want to summon the Cyberstein. I guess it can just get changed again, so that it's not as good as it looks. Unfortunately, Corki still cannot attack, but he will change the Ladybug to add a level 3 and then attach another material to Korbag. This is a killer for any defense decks. Adding the Oily Kikada and going into Rhinoceros. Insane. I've never seen this summoned in my life. Using the Kakunda to special summon the Dream Kikada, using 2 to go into Skull Radiator. We've seen this guy before. In fact, he's right here. Oily Kikada coming onto the field, and then using 2 to go into number 45. Using the effects of number 45 to negate the effects of the Sword of the Revealing Light. Changing the King to attack position, special summoning the Oily Kikada. Using everything he's got to attack. I believe this is lethal, and that's the end of the finals. Wow, that was a blowout. Now, I will say, Corki, his decks are insane. He does most of the cooking on the server. And for context, I saw after the game that Corki mentioned that he put in a lot of kind of flip and defense hate that we saw from the bugs. And it really worked. He knew a lot of people were going to be on flips, and that prediction really worked for him. So in the end, I'm happy that Corki won. In fact, they went undefeated the whole tournament, 0 losses, and his deck is insane, so that makes sense. It's hard to believe that it's all legacy cards, and it really is. If anything, I'm happy Corky won, because that means my loss was justified. I don't know, I'm just huffing copium at this point. So if you enjoyed these tournament matches, please do let me know in the comments, because I would love to cover more of these tournaments. I feel like this format has a lot of room to grow. There are so many niche cards in the Legacy Pack and free rewards that you just will never see, and the fact that these decks are playable against each other is awesome. So come join us in the Discord and let me know, so I have an excuse to film these again. That being said, if you made it this far in the video, please do feel free to hit subscribe. New Yu-Gi-Oh videos each week, and as always, happy dueling.